Tonight, distress is reverberating on social media due to rumors regarding Mendeecees and Yandy's formerly impenetrable marriage. The couple's relationship has been shattered by Yandy's private confession. According to those close to them, it's so honest that even their closest friends are having trouble understanding. Although they haven't spoken in public, fans are assembling cryptic posts, emotional live sessions, and now a shocking new rumor that links Ciara to the chaos. Photos of deleted comments, rumors of a covert pregnancy, and late-night arguments have turned what were once romantic aspirations into a full-blown emotional maelstrom. Mendeecees is caught off guard, feels duped, and is unsure of whom to trust. Despite having built their reputation on loyalty and perseverance, the couple is reportedly embroiled in a scandal that people are talking about now. But the real question remains. With new information emerging every hour, Yandy admitted what role does Ciara's purported pregnancy play in this intricate web of lies and heartache? As if every post, article, and like hint at something far bigger, simmering beneath the surface, there is an uneasy silence that pervades the air. According to people who have been following the couple for years, in what is now known as a secret confession, insiders say it all began that night when Yandy decided to come clean. Even her closest family members and friends couldn't believe she'd actually said it out loud because it was so sincere. The exact words are unknown, although some suggest that it was related to a decision she made years prior, a secret, or a hidden fact. According to witnesses, when she finally spoke, Mendeecees froze and stared at her as though time had stopped. He said, "Why am I hearing this now?" His voice cracked. Those close to the seriousness of the question was clear to everyone. Despite his calm tone of voice, Yandy spoke quietly, almost trembling. "I wanted to protect you, but hiding it any longer felt wrong." That's when everything changed. It appeared as though the room was divided in half, with love and memories in one half and uncertainty and untold suffering in the other. Social media became widely used very soon. The picture created by cryptic posts, heartfelt videos, and secret unfollows was too obvious for fans to ignore. Furthermore, rumors that Ciara was pregnant surfaced at the same time as Yandy's truth was starting to circulate online. Hashtags gained popularity after a fan in her most recent video pointed out her large sweatshirt and another fan noted an odd sheen. Could there be a Yandy's mysterious confession and Ciara's alleged pregnancy have anything in common? Even since they had no answers, fans kept asking questions. Behind closed doors, insiders describe a challenging atmosphere where it's almost possible to hear hearts breaking. "If I had known sooner, maybe I could have understood," Mendeecees reportedly replied, moving slowly around the table. She looked him in the eyes and whispered, "Maybe. But would anything have changed?" At a small dinner gathering, Yandy said, "People will talk, but they'll never know what it cost me to say it." The room fell silent again. Not just hovering in space, but the kind of silence that presses down on you. When pals tried to comfort them, every voice told a different tale. Yandy's longtime coworker told a blogger, "They've survived worse, but this one feels personal." Another acquaintance insisted it was a mistake, while another claimed it was something more serious. It is more crucial to think about what was hidden than what was said. Simultaneously, Ciara's name started trending quite quickly. The internet created a full story in a single day, but no one was able to verify anything. Fans analyzed the subtitles, old movies reappeared, and comments flooded in with questions like, "Is this about her? And who is the father?" Some fans connected the date to recent events, arguing that it was too close to be a coincidence. While some argued that it was all over the top, the story had become its own thing. A voice that sounded like Mendeecees remarked, "You should have told me when it mattered," in a leaked footage from what seemed to be an off-camera interaction, regardless of whether it was real or not. "I didn't even know how to," a gentler voice that admirers believed to be Yandy's, responded. Although others questioned the clip's authenticity, pointing out timing problems and edits, the damage was already done. By spreading across platforms, the clip reignited the fire just as it was starting to die. The duo has built a reputation for strength and loyalty, as those who have followed them since the early days of hip-hop and love remember. When cracks began to show, it seemed unreal. They were relationship goals. One admirer described, "What hope are we left with if they cannot collapse?" According to someone else, every relationship conceals something. We just so happen to see theirs. Mendeecees remained mostly silent during it all. He is digesting information slowly and trying to separate fact from fiction, according to people close to him. One source claims that he doesn't react easily because of rage. On the other hand, Yandy has been observed focusing on her work, sharing motivational sayings, and smiling in interviews. Her fans, however, insist that her eyes send a different message. He observes, listens, and then chooses his words. They were seen sitting separately at a party in one behind-the-scenes picture that quietly circulated online. Mendeecees seemed distracted as Yandy kept browsing through her phone. There were no words, yet the silence was plenty. Fans couldn't help but connect that one phrase with her earlier statement when she smiled slightly when asked how she was feeling afterward. Healing takes time. Her actions on the internet only made it worse for Ciara. When she posted a black and white photo with the caption, "Every glow comes with its own storm," The internet was ablaze with rumors within minutes. Is she confirming? Who is she talking about? Others attempted to diffuse the tension by reminding everyone that reputations are harmed by assumptions. Once a fire has started, though it is hard to put out, according to those in the couple's social circle, love is still present. It's just buried under layers of confusion and disbelief. This has nothing to do with treachery, according to one source. It has to do with truth and timing. Nevertheless, supporters understand that even the strongest foundations can be undermined by timing. The followers saw a shift as the days passed. No anniversary posts, no couple selfies, no joint appearances. One of Yandy's quotes reads, "Sometimes love means stepping back so both can breathe." Mendeecees' only social media post was a black heart emoji. Supporters disagreed about whether it showed pain, strength, or both. All of this makes one thing clear. The truth regarding what was said that night and how it connects to the rumors that are spreading around Sierra is unknown. Everyone can sense the tension, hurt, and stillness that now dominates all speech. Though once standing together, two people now seem to be on opposite sides of an emotional tempest that is halfway between the waiting and the whispering. And everyone is anticipating if this is the beginning of the end or just a challenging season. Fans were unable to ignore the strange hush that ensued. Simply put, no dramatic announcements or public disputes took place. No more family dinners, couple posts, or joint appearances. However, for some reason, silence appeared to have more impact than words. Mendeecees was still at home. According to others, only sleeping in a different room. But some claimed he had moved out for a bit to give himself more room to ponder. The distance between them was becoming evident. Whatever the truth, Mendeecees' posts had cooled off and grown bare, with only a few exercises and a quotation about truth always coming up. But Yandy's smile in her latest photos seemed forced. It was described as an emotional lockdown by sources. Long nights were being spent alone in Yandy's studio, where she would write, pace, and cry sometimes. Even though she doesn't break easily, she's carrying guilt this time. Another friend added, she thought she was protecting him. She didn't expect it to explode like this, according to one close friend, implying that her confession wasn't about betrayal, but rather about something from her past that she couldn't take back. Meanwhile, fans began connecting on social media more than ever before, before a behind-the-scenes video from a recent event went viral, showing Mendeecees having a long conversation with Kirk Frost, who seemed to be offering advice. A few insightful followers noticed that Sierra had changed her bio twice in a single week and deleted several recent photos. When it said "New beginnings" one day and "My peace matters" the next, it was enough to spark a new round of rumors. Was she hiding something, or was she just trying to avoid the commotion? Despite the lack of audio, online lip readers claimed that Kirk murmured something like, "Don't make any decisions. Angry bro." You can see the pain in his face, one fan wrote, while another said, "That's not a man who's done. That's a man who's broken." Mendeecees touched his temple and nodded slowly as supporters left heartfelt comments. In a further twist, a short video surfaced showing Yandy leaving a restaurant with her phone to her ear and her eyes red, leading fans to speculate that she had been crying. Within minutes, blogs with headlines like "Yandy breaks down after private call" and "Mendeecees seen out with friends." Yandy in tears were going viral. Despite the fact that none of this was confirmed, the plot, heartbreak, distance, and a deep misunderstanding that no one could clear was shaping. The rumors intensified about Sierra, who, according to some insiders, had been dealing with personal problems of her own and felt that her name should not be mentioned in the chaos surrounding another spouse. But a number of tabloids claimed that she had a private connection to the matter, which admirers immediately interpreted as romantic. One gossip page even claimed in an anonymous direct message that Sierra and Yandy had a fight weeks before the whole thing happened, saying they were close once, but recently, something changed. Again, there was no proof, just speculation, but it was enough to ignite a new online fire. Mendeecees' friends reportedly told him to stay off social media, with one saying he's not the kind to go live or make statements because he believes that silence is strength, and that it also allows others to share your thoughts. Experience, and that's precisely what happened. Fan accounts, podcasters, and bloggers started making assumptions. Some claimed that Yandy had disguised communication with someone he didn't trust, while others claimed that she had confessed to something personal before Mendeecees went back home. They were all confident they were right, but nobody knew for sure. Their home was tense, and the air was thick, as if they were both trying to avoid saying something incorrect. One late-night visitor asked, "Do you really want to hear my side?" Yandy Mendeecees paused, turned away, and responded. It was stated, "I don't know if I'm ready," she whispered. "So, how should I proceed?" It was not anger, but rather the fatigue that comes with loving someone but not knowing if you can still trust them. "Maybe nothing for now," he replied sharply and succinctly. Yandy disclosed in private to a mutual acquaintance that he believes I lied. "Isn't that the same thing? I just didn't tell him everything," the friend asked. Yandy didn't answer, staring out the window, while Men was seen heading to meet his mother. When men go to their moms, that's serious. one commenter said, implying that he needed to be grounded. Everyone had an opinion by the end of the day, and others speculated that he was getting advice on whether to leave or stay married. He loves her too much to simply walk away, but one of his relatives said that love does not make suffering go away. They built a kingdom together, and now they're watching it burn in silence. One of the most popular tweets that encapsulated the chaos was posted on social media over the weekend. While some praised Mendeecees as a man attempting to keep his peace, others sided with Yandy, calling her a woman. Truth has a strange way of finding the light. Then, late one night, Sierra posted a cryptic video, as if the universe needed more drama. As the description states, her comments were flooded with questions within minutes. Such, "Is this about Yandy? What are you checking?" The words, "Girl, don't play with our emotions," were not answered by her, but the timing was too good to ignore. Some websites began to suggest that the alleged pregnancy might not even be real, that it was just a diversion from something more serious. "It's not about a baby," one message said, while another site responded, "The baby rumor is real, just not in the way people think. It's about what's not said and treachery. Forgiveness does not equate to forgetfulness," Yandy said at this point in her story. Supporters immediately interpreted it as a message to him and connected it to men's het, signifies liberty. One friend described it as like two people fighting to hold on to something real while drowning in noise. He shared his own a few hours later, and that was all it took to send the internet into a frenzy once more. Some truths hurt because they were never meant to be hidden, but those who know them well behind the scenes say the situation is more sentimental than controversial. "I don't even know if we're fighting each other or just the world." One night, a spectator reportedly overheard Mendeecees saying to a companion, and that line alone went viral on fan pages overlaying somber black and white pictures of the couple from happier times. Nevertheless, the noise just got louder every day, and paparazzi followed them, waiting for a response. The numerous responses that poured in included things like, "He still loves her. That's the saddest thing I've ever read, and they need a break." In reality though, there was more going on inside that tidal wave of love and confusion. Mendeecees started going to the gym more often and working out harder, while Yandy focused on charitable endeavors. A glimmer of concern remains in those interactions, but both are trying to distract themselves by pretending that they are not seeing each other's reflection in every action. Friends say they still occasionally send short, polite, and almost business-like texts. Messages that used to be warm, such as "I hope you got home safely," "Just checking in," and "Kids doing okay," now seeming like echo. One source whispered, "They're not done, just lost." As for Sierra, her silence remains the most audible part of this story. She has not confirmed or denied anything, and she has not addressed the rumors or suspicions that have connected her name to this tragic storm. She may or may not be innocent, but her posts, timing, and regardless of what happens next, the world cannot ignore Mendeecees and Yandy's love story, which was once a symbol of perseverance but now hangs in precarious balance. The situation seems like slow-motion heartbreak, with two stories overlapping, one confession leading to another mystery, and 1,000 admirers trying to solve a conundrum that may not have an answer. As the days turned into weeks, the tension between Mendeecees and Yandy shifted from a quiet melancholy to something more substantial, a cold chasm that none of them seemed ready to traverse. And friends reported that they stopped communicating other than through brief text messages, mostly about everyday issues. Their warmth, humor, and casual intimacy replaced by a cold civility. Subtly, one source revealed, they sound like two people trying to forget they were in love. The public's continued interest simply made things worse. The internet wouldn't let it go, no matter how hard they tried to keep it secret. Fans were determined to solve the mystery, and every new post, word, and facial expression was a clue. "We've been through so much. Sometimes you just break before you bend," Yandy said in a previous tape that people cited because it sounded strong at the time. But now it sounded like a hint of things to come. Mendeecees' close friends tried to encourage him to talk, but he would simply shake his head and change the topic. He started searching through previous interviews for clues that this disaster was imminent. When he said, even now when he's hurt, he won't let anyone drag her name through the mud, fans grew even more emotional. He acknowledged that he's still protecting her. The mystery surrounding Yandy's confession, however, remained at the heart of this entire dispute. It showed that love persisted in spite of everything that had transpired, fighting silently to exist beneath the destruction. Some who knew, however, said it wasn't treachery, but rather something that made her look weak rather than dishonest. About anything from an emotional tie to a past secret, saying she thought she was protecting everyone, but secrets are poisonous and don't keep you safe. Then, there was another twist. According to an exclusive blog post, Mendeecees had been seen arguing angrily with a buddy outside a bar in Atlanta. Fans scrutinized the blurry footage frame by frame, convinced that it was connected to the event. One remark read, "Yandy is the reason he's angry." According to others, he was just displaying his frustration with the rumors, as evidenced by his expression. Reality was no longer significant because perception had already written its tale. But when Sierra posted another cryptic comment, her followers went into a frenzy. And within hours, many thought that Yandy was the target of her caption. Some people hate you for the peace they can't find in themselves. For example, she's making fun of me. She's sick of being held responsible, so why now? Exploded in the comment section. Every interpretation just served to fuel the fires. Some speculated that her pregnancy was a metaphor for new beginnings rather than a real one, while others didn't believe it and asked for clarity. They asked for clarification. During all of this, Mendeecees finally made their public debut. He came by himself, dressed nicely, but his face was captured on camera, looking tired. He smiled briefly at the photographers, but left. And in one fan video, he was seen browsing in silence in a corner while staring blankly at his phone. People have stated things like, "He seems empty," and you can tell he's holding everything in. Wearing a gorgeous silver costume, Yandy spoke at a charity event in New York that same evening, smiled for the cameras, and rushed off, saying, "Sometimes, love means letting people heal the way they need to." 2. Touched everyone's heart. Even though she made no mention of Mendeecees, their admirers who had been following their romance since the start couldn't stand it. Everywhere threads with the title, "Is this the end? Can they make it back from this?" In a single comment, the collective suffering was captured. We saw them start everything from scratch, fight for love when it wasn't easy, and even behind the scenes, there were brief moments of silence where something real showed through the cracks. One source claims that late one evening, Mendeecees called Yandy, not to argue, not to improve the situation, just to talk. She responded, "She's trying." But they both realized that optimism wasn't enough this time, and they were still tormented by the revelation that started it all. He asked her if she was okay, and even though they didn't talk for long, the fact that they spoke at all gave everyone hope. The source said, "It wasn't what she said, it was what it meant." And it made him rethink everything, apparently related to an incident that happened years ago and then suddenly resurfaced. The friend explained, saying she thought it had been forgotten. But memories don't fade, they just wait for the right silence to echo. And admirers saw something else in that silence. Yandy removed her ring, and without covering her hand, it was just gone. Within minutes, screenshots were all over social media. Some people said it had no meaning and that she may have taken it off for comfort or work, while others said it was essential, and Sierra's arrival only made things more confusing. Her most recent post was a serene beach video with the caption, "Sometimes distance is safeguarding." That one sentence put all of her theories to the test. Some thought she was implying that she had left a messy issue behind. Others interpreted it as evidence that she had been more familiar with the story than she had ever acknowledged. The world was listening to anything she was saying. Mendeecees reportedly told a friend, "It's not that I don't love her. It's that I have no idea how to love her at the moment." In a tragic moment, those words became headlines within hours. Podcasters dissected every word, and bloggers turned them into content. But beneath the chaos, there was something undeniably real. Two people trying to hold on to the pieces of a life they had built together while the internet made fun of their suffering. One supporter wrote, "You guys have come too far to let this break you," while others flocked to both pages with words of love and encouragement. For a brief while, both of them liked identical messages about faith and healing, subtle enough to make everyone think if reconciliation was possible. And another remarked, "We believe in second chances. Every marriage must weather storms together. Just avoid drowning separately." Just as many were starting to feel hopeful. A new rumor surfaced that producers were considering showcasing their conflict in a future special episode. Immediately, opinions differed, with some accusing the network of exploiting their suffering and others claiming it would allow people to express their opinions. Whether true or not, it reminded everyone of how blurry the line between entertainment and reality had become. Even though neither of them had spoken in public, those closest to them whispered that they still loved each other. But that love isn't enough to mend what truth has shattered at the moment. The climax of the story seemed to be approaching as the nights grew longer and colder. The silence, the whispers, and the confession had all built up to the point where something had to give, either forgiveness or finality. Every aspect of Mendeecees and Yandy's world felt different, and as the third week drew near, everyone in the area could feel the weight of the atmosphere that had once been filled with activity and laughter. The once inseparable couple was living their lives as if they were ghosts, slipping through time without ever really being there. And the quiet between them had become unpleasant and heavy. As if each of them were an addition to what she said, Yandy pleaded for forgiveness. To those who knew them before they became famous, breath was a reminder of the past. It was like watching two souls drift apart while still holding onto the same dream. According to a close friend, they both want peace, but they do so in different ways. Mendeecees sought answers, clear-cut, understandable truth. Rumors continued to spread like wildfire, and fans jumped to conclusions when one website claimed that Mendeecees had been spotted outside a recording studio late at night with a mystery woman. However, it was revealed a few hours later that the woman was merely a business colleague. And somewhere in the middle of those two aspirations, their relationship was slowly disintegrating. Although Yandy stayed silent, her subsequent post, which contained the single words, silence can be its own confession, sent the internet into a tailspin once again. Meanwhile, Sierra's name continued to appear throughout the conversation, with another exclusive appearing every few days, implying that she was involved in the widening gap between Mendeecees and Yandy. Heartbroken Mendeecees find solace elsewhere. Despite the lack of screenshots or supporting evidence, a podcast host even claimed to have inside knowledge that Sierra and Mendeecees had exchanged private direct messages weeks prior to the collapse. The rumor quickly gained traction on social media, and after naming all parties involved and requesting clarification, fans filled the gaps with their own theories. According to one insider, Yandy and Sierra were cool, but something happened that made them both step back. It was unclear what that something was, a mistake, a misunderstanding, or maybe just the pressure of being in the spotlight. The picture from inside sources was more tragic. In one tearful interaction, a mutual acquaintance said, "I didn't mean for any of this to happen." But everyone agreed that the whole matter had become something far more important than any of them had expected. Softly, Mendeecees remarked, "I simply wanted to be honest." Being sincere without timing is just another form of deception. Even though those words were awful, they encapsulated their conflict. It wasn't about betrayal or dishonesty, but rather about the moment truth arrived too late. Every update was welcomed by followers as though it were a staged drama, and trending hashtags included $TeamTruth and Pray for Yandy, while gossip blogs analyzed every expression in old videos. Podcasts debated who was correct or incorrect. The entire world seemed to have turned their sadness into a plot point. Sierra uploaded a picture of herself at what looked like a doctor's office, which caused a new round of confusion. The caption only included a heart emoji, and thousands of comments came in just a few minutes. Is she confirming this? But before she could limit her comments, someone got a snapshot of a fan's answer that said, "If this is true, I feel for Yandy. What is the purpose of the appointment? Don't tell me that the rumors are the reason." The post went viral in less than an hour. Sierra swiftly removed the sad heart emoji after responding with it. "People will believe what they want, and no matter what I say, they'll twist it." Mendeecees said to a friend after he had completed his attempt to explain. He was simply exhausted, not angry. The kind of exhaustion that seeps into your bones, even if you've been through worse. Heartbreak is a kind of captivity in and of itself, especially when millions of strangers are watching. That phrase alone broke fans' hearts. Yandy also seemed to be withdrawing within herself. She's not talking much, not posting much, a close friend revealed. Not posting much, a close friend revealed.